Harvey took a few days off, I would step in for him, and I would do other things on the radio. So I was a pretty busy guy, and I had other obligations. I was making speeches and things of that nature. So I didn't decide to run until earlier this year, and I got to looking at the situation, looking at my country, looking at the world and the dangers we face, looking around my own household and seeing my own kids and thinking about what kind of world they were going to grow up in and their grandkids. And we decided that I needed to step up. And when I made that decision, I had to get out of all these other contractual obligations, and it took me a little while. So I got to thinking about it, and I said, well, I'll be announcing about the same time people traditionally do, right about Labor Day.
In the old days.
In the old days, that's right. They changed the rules this year, but I wasn't there when they changed the rules. So I had to follow my own rules. I think there's some advantages and disadvantages. Clearly, they've been out there spending millions and millions of dollars before I ever got started, and that's an advantage that they've got. But I'm coming in at a time when people are starting to pay attention. And I'm going to be in Iowa, just about every day from now on until when I come back on, I think the 17th we'll be back. May take off a day or two for Christmas. But just when the interest is there the greatest, is when we will be here the most. And kind of like Tennessee. I ran for about a year for the Senate first time, and nobody paid much attention to any of us until September, and the election is in November, and then the interest grew and it peaked about October. And we went from 20 points down in the polls to 20 points ahead on election day. So naturally, I'd like to see some comparisons to that.
Senator, you were very critical earlier today of Mike Huckabee and his comments on the NIE. Do you think Mike Huckabee is qualified?
Well, if you call saying that I was surprised that he didn't know anything about it, being very critical, then yes, I guess I was.
I think that qualifies. Okay. Do you think he's qualified to be commander-in-chief? Would the Republicans be in trouble if they nominated somebody like Mike Huckabee?
All I'm saying is that national security and foreign affairs is the most important thing facing this country. It affects our security and the security of our children. And who has nuclear capability is the most important part of the most important issue. And I think it's best if someone has experience in that regard. I've spent a lot of time. I served on the Intelligence Committee in the United States Senate. I've traveled around the world, met with foreign leaders. I chaired a committee that involved oversight of nuclear proliferation issues and things of that nature. And so I think it's surprising, as I said earlier, that someone that would aspire to be president, takes a position like closing Guantanamo, for example, is a good thing, and does not keep up with what's going on in Iran.
Last question. When you have a heavy day of campaigning, how often does your staff keep you up to date on news that's breaking in? And when you're on the trip, do you have some?
Not often. I read as much as I can myself, and probably read papers every morning. Back before I started campaigning, I read about 5 newspapers a day. I don't have that luxury quite anymore. And you do have to rely on staff to keep you up to date. But as I say, it's a matter of priorities. The nuclear ambitions of Iran, who calls us the Great Satan, who's been killing our people for years through Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations, is a #1 priority for this country, and a #1 priority for anybody who aspires to be president. We're not going to keep up with everything all the time, but I think that when you couple that with lack of any background in these areas, then you have to judge that along with all the other factors that one must be judged by when you run for president. Thank you very much.